Acting. Where the hell's my thing at? Oh, shit. Oh, we're live here. I'm going to play the intro. Hang on. Here we go. All right, here we are, Levi. It's you and I and Waylon Turnus so far. Hey, Waylon, thanks for tuning in, buddy.
How's it going, Waylon?
So yeah, Levi's he's feeling a little under the weather, but he's taking one for the team here tonight, and he's got his tumbler.
A lot better now than I did all week. I can tell you.
I don't know what's in his tumbler, but he's got something in there. So it's. Hey, all right, Josh Patterson. Hey, buddy. Good evening, Eric Newman. Good evening from the fence crew in South Dakota. I don't turn down help either, he says. I appreciate you listening, Eric. I never turned down help with fencing either. So
absolutely not.
I got over that trying to show everybody what a tough guy I was fencing when I was younger. So that's enough of that crap, right? So anyways, yeah, we got, like I said, Levi Nelson's back with us here. Levi's got all kinds of tags that he's got. I'm assuming, Levi, that they're in more than one state here, right, with the number of them that you have?
Correct, yep. We're in 3 states this year and 2 reservations.
Okay, because I know somebody asked me, like, how the heck do you get 8 tags? And I'm like, tune in and find out. But, we get other people got to know too. So yeah. Let's just go right away with, so what do you got for these tags? I mean, what are your tags that you got?
Okay, so starting off, I have 2 over-the-counter tags. I have my North Dakota archery.
Where are those at? Where are these over-the-counter ones at?
So North Dakota for my archery tag, which
everybody buys. Okay.
Yeah. And then I have a South Dakota private land archery antelope tag, which is over-the-counter. And then I applied for 42 different tags in, I want to say it's 13 states, and I drew 6.
Dang.
So when I say that I drew 6 tags, everybody's like, geez, how do you draw so many tags? I'm like, I got a whole lot more no's than I got yeses.
Yeah. So do you get your money back on all of them that you get no drawn, or do they keep them?
Yeah, so majority of the applications that you send out, you get your money back. Not all the time is it all of your money. A lot of them have a license cost or your general habitat stamps or whatever you call it. So you're still out some money on these, but the majority of your money does come back. Like New Mexico is one that I apply for that is extremely expensive. You have to front all the money of the tags, but you get 95% of that money back.
And you applied for what down in New Mexico?
So I apply for everything in New Mexico. I apply for elk, antelope, deer. They have oryx, ibex, aoudad, a desert bighorn sheep. Like I put in for everything down there. And the reason I do that is because there's no points in New Mexico. It's a random lottery. So you have a chance every time you put in. And if I'm already buying the license, like your general habitat stamp like you do here, if I'm already spending that, which is I think down there is $170, you might as well throw your name in the hat. But that one I think is, I want to say it's $8,900 that you loan the state of New Mexico for a month and a half to 2 months until you get your results and they send your money back.
Dang.
So that hurts a little bit, but
yeah. So you got 2 over the counters, and then I interrupted you there. What else did you draw?
So I drew Montana deer and elk, and then I drew North Dakota deer. I drew South Dakota deer. I drew Standing Rock deer, and I drew a rosebud muzzleloader deer.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome,
So
man.
most
So,
deer tags I've ever had in a year.
so what your Montana deer tag? What kind of deer is that? Any deer, just mule
Any
deer? Or do you
deer.
go in whitetail units or?
So everything that I have this year is any except rosebud muzzleloaders, whitetail only. The rest of them are any antlered or any deer. They just depend. But I'll be able to shoot a muley or a whitetail buck on all of them except rosebud.
Standing rocks and any antler too?
Yep. So they changed that last year. You had to select which one you wanted. This year it was back to the way it's been, which you can shoot either or. But
Mm-hmm.
in standing rock, there's a point restriction. You need to have 4 on one side. So
Okay. Well, so if that big three walks by, you got to just let him go, huh?
you got to let them walk.
Even when he's got them big diesel stack bases on him, you're like, oh man,
And
that'd be
that's why the
sweet.
genetics down there, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, yeah, I have heard that for sure.
There's
For
a
sure.
lot of big forkies down there too.
So my buddy Kelsey Glauder says LFG exclamation point. We know what that stands for, right?
Yep,
You
that's
got
yellow.
you got it, buddy. Waylon Turner says, do you get everything in New Mexico for that price if you draw?
Yeah, so if I draw everything, because I've had people ask me that before, they're like, "So do you donate $8,900 if you drew everything?" And yeah, I mean, if I drew everything that I applied for, yeah, it would cost me $8,900. But then I would also take any money left in my bank account and throw it on a lottery ticket because if I'm that dang lucky, let's go. Because the chances of me drawing one of those tags is really hard. To draw all of them, man.
Yeah,
But that
but
would be
yeah.
that would be the best year ever.
Oh man, yeah. I was gonna say you'd be in hunting heaven there.
I'd have no vacation left. I know that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we might just got to take it and then just eat it, man. Just take a day off. And so, Kelsey,
Yeah.
he said that's a badass drinking horn I got there. Yeah, man, it's a 26 ounce Stanley, which I bought years ago when Kmart went out of business. So,
Oh, there you go.
highly recommend.
I
Because
got
it is
my
shaped like a Stein. You know what I mean?
I got my new SCI. Oh, there we go. SCI mug here. I think it's
Yeah.
my
So
most.
real quick, you were there. How was that? I mean, it looked like a packed house. I saw some
Oh
pictures.
man. The theater.
Uh-oh. He froze up on us. He's looking at his SCI mug, but he got off on a few times there on the we were talking in pre-show, but imagine he'll be back. I didn't go to the SCI. I was hold on, here he's back. He dropped off. He's back on here. All right, there
Yep,
you are,
there
buddy.
we are.
So, anyways, yeah, we were
Sorry about that.
talking. Yeah,
The
so how to
SCI.
go over there
Yeah,
was packed. Yeah.
the Theodore Roosevelt SCI chapter did an amazing job for their inaugural event. I think they sold over 350 tickets, packed house. There was a lot of good deals in the auction. Might have bought a couple
Mhm.
hunts, but it was an amazing deal, and it's only going to get better. So I'm hoping next year we can get some more people in there, and I mean it's going to get
Yeah.
better.
I see
So,
my
and this
favorite
one was
governor
amazing.
candidate. My favorite governor candidate was there.
Yeah,
Which
I tried to give him some
coincidentally the next
crap. He was up
show.
there. He was up
Yeah,
on
tell him six
stage when
five.
they were talking about one of the auction hunts.
Oh, you
Go ahead.
still?
Sorry
Oh,
about
you
that.
froze up on me for a second. No, that's cool. I was just gonna say you got to give him a little crap, like 6'5" PRC. Apparently, I'm told by one of his buddies he thinks that's the greatest thing ever. So if you ever want to give him a little rubbing on it, he's gonna be on. He's coming on now in 22nd. He's coming on with me. So Kelsey says, you need to phone a friend to help you out with those tags, man. I think he's hitting about himself there to give him a call.
There you go.
Oh, Waylon, so he says,
I
where's
see
that held
Waylon.
out? That was,
Waylon.
yeah, go for it, brother.
That was at the Baymont here in Mandan.
The old 7Cs for old guys like me, and Scott Bachmeyer still calls it that too. So, Scotty Price, he said,
Yep.
Levi Nelson in the house, baby. All right. All right.
Buddy of mine
So you
from
got
work.
skunk. Awesome. Hey, Scott, appreciate you tuning in. So you got skunked in New Mexico, so Montana, you got what in Montana again? You got elk and deer out there.
Correct. Yep.
Is that so? Is that statewide, or they have units in Montana like here? How does that work?
So I drew the general. There's also there's permit areas that are in certain units, but I drew just the general areas, which basically encompass about 70% of the state.
Wow.
You just have to look at your regulations and kind of verify what's what. But I know the areas that I hunt in, so I'm set, ready to roll.
And I'm so we what are you looking for deer? Are you looking for a muley or a whitetail, or you don't give a crap?
I don't care.
Yeah,
Big
yeah, I
and
don't
any
either,
flavor.
man. If I got any, I mean, my unit, it's always one or the other, and I always put in for, well, not always. I mean, I've gotten a couple whitetails that are pretty nice, but yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
like, some people are whitetail snobs and other people are muley snobs, and I'm like, no, I don't care if my tag says I got horns to hunt, man. Antlers, I'm
Yep.
sorry, antlers. Yeah, it's I'm jacked up for it either way. But so what you said you were out
Yep.
scouting last week out there? What did you see anything worth a damn, or what'd that look like?
Yeah, I saw a pretty good mule deer when we were out there, or when I was out there, and kind of made me stop and take some pictures of them. And it's hard to tell though, because they don't usually stick around the same areas the deer do,
Hmm.
or the deer don't rather. They kind of move more. So it's not really per se, a deer that I'm going to target in this area. But it was cool to see him, and you never know if he shows back up in late
Yeah.
October or November.
So are you kind of hunting like the Badlands looking stuff out there, or are you? I
Yeah,
mean,
typically, there's 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 farm ground out there. There's a lot of public land. There's prairie. It just depends. I get as high as I can in glass, and wherever they show up, try to
like
make a
high
big
like
X.
elevation, or you get some hippie lettuce going.
No, I get elevation.
Going scouting, man. There's big one over there, big one over
They
there.
all, I bet they all look big when you're high. Like, oh
Yeah,
man,
they do. That look like they taste way better too, right? After a while.
there you go.
Josh Patterson said he still calls it the Seven Seas too. I mean, it's always going to be the same because you go in there and it's still got the same decorations. But I
Yep.
mean, I've been to a few NRA banquets there, and I mean, when I was still on Friends NRA, I was over there working one too. But Waylon says he put in for any. You never know what walks out. Yeah, I mean, any is freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you draw a whitetail tag, you're gonna see a big muley, and
Yeah.
same
Oh,
the other way. And so
the biggest one of probably maybe not the biggest, but one of the biggest whitetails I ever seen out at our place at a muley tag, and we pulled up like we got a hunting shack there, like right now, or where we pulled up and we were just sitting there looking, and all of a sudden my brother-in-law was with me, and I'm like, look at this freaking huge whitetail. This thing was like 20 yards away from us. He's like, where? And I'm like, right here. And he just was like, statued in the buffalo berries, just eyeballing us to the side. I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this thing had to be a 190 plus. He was freaking. And then he finally took off, and we just sat there and watched him and looked at each other like, holy. Yeah. Somebody said they shot him and he got up and they were high fiving and they looked up and he got up and took off. They never found him. So then my
oh
daughter's sore for being
no.
allowed there. Yeah, but it's yeah, yeah. It was. I mean, it was a freaking monster, man. But yeah, there we were with. He had a muley doe tag and I had a muley buck tag, and it just. I mean, how often do you get a whitetail that close during rifle season? I could have freaking speared him with that. But
What was your
yeah,
bow
it's
tag?
yeah. So real quick before we keep going, I'll give you. I have my bow, my crossbow. As I'm a cheater. Uh, I have a permit for them, but I say that because everybody's like it's cheating. But
Yeah,
I was like, it was the end of rifle
you're not
season,
cheating. You're
and it
not
was one of
trying.
them. Right, yeah, like one of the wrestlers used to say, right? But yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna run out to the hunting shack. Somebody forgot something out there, and I'm like, I looked at my crossbow, and I'm like, there's no freaking way. It was one of them winters where there was no snow during deer season. I drive out and I get in the shack and I look out the window across and I see like these four does looking down. I'm like, no, do not freaking tell me. Yeah, I look down. There's this freaking huge 3x3 that I've seen a couple of times right below my shack. Of course, I have my rangefinder, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, 70 yards. Sure. So I come out, just walk a little. I get like 20 yards closer because he's following this doe, and they're both just sitting there looking at me. And I'm like, 50 yards. This is, of course, went and got my crossbow and came back. Not there anymore. But yeah, just speaking about how you don't bring stuff along.
Mhm.
All right, my buddy Kelsey, he bought a reverse crossbow last week. Freaking awesome, dude. When I bought a new one, I looked at those. I was going to get one, actually, but I did get a better deal on the barn. I don't know if you saw that video I had there, Levi, and I was shooting that thing out to 80 yards. I wasn't going to go 80, but then we did it in that wind, and I was like, dang. But you've seen, man, it took a long time to get there. To me, I think they could duck that even on a crossbow. Yeah, Kelsey said this is 420. Well, mine says 405, and as you see, we ran it through the chrono, and it wasn't. It was one was 370, the other one was 369. Which to me, like I said, I could still probably, run a freaking broadhead through a rhino at that speed with the
Yeah,
but
mine's like 295.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the grain of your arrow?
So I want to say my grain. I think I'm 560. I want to say 100 grain broadheads, and I think we have 75 grain insert. So it's a fairly heavy arrow.
So I'm going faster than you, but I got like a 390 grain bolt. So I mean, that weight maybe I don't know. It's
I mean, they are way shorter.
Yeah, that's the reason I got rid of my other one. It was wider and heavier. My new one, it's just like carrying around I don't want to say a toy. I mean, it's obviously not as light as what are the crossbows that them guys always have? Them super fast ones that are like 500 and yeah, they're little compact Ravens. The Ravens. I mean, but those are like 2,500, and I'm like, nah, man, I ain't into that heavy. So anyway, let's keep going here. So speaking of bows, I mean, what kind of let's go through a little bit of your gear. But let's tell you, let's go back to South Dakota. What do you got for tags there again?
So
you got some reservation?
Yep. Excuse me. Sorry. For South Dakota, I have an archery antelope tag. I have a rifle deer tag. And then I have 2 reservation tags, a rosebud muzzleloader and then standing rock. And I guess that goes into North Dakota too. But
you're like the rifle and antelope tag, is that all West River? Do they have you, or is it like North Dakota down there with bow? It's statewide. I mean, is there even the antelope East River? Yeah, I was going to say there's even any down that.
I think there might be some there, but the season is only for West River.
Mm-hmm. So when is that open then?
There's no units. It's just the whole state.
Okay, pretty like here then. So when's that open for archery for your antelope down there? Is that open before rifle like North Dakota?
Yep, I want to say that it starts on the 17th of August. I don't go down till the 22nd.
Yeah, so when Wayne was on, he said that putting them decoys out works pretty good. You ever try that?
I've tried it. I've not had any luck with it. It seems like it's at the right time. They'll correspond with it. Like this early in the season, I don't think you'd have as much luck with it. During the rut, like mid-September, I think is when that's the best time for it.
And do you hunt by a water hole and a blind, or do you stock them, or both? What do? You stock them?
Yeah. So I hunt over water holes typically.
Okay, we'll just blind. We'll just put the blind there, and I mean, that works pretty good, huh?
I love it. It's kind of I don't know. It definitely tests your desire to be out there. Some days can be really easy, and then some days you can sit there for hours and hours, and it's hot. And then like last year, it was really hot, and there was a lot of water, so the antelope didn't have to water where you were at, and then the mosquitoes were horrible.
Oh man!
This year is looking like it'll be a little different. It's very dry down there. It's been really hot. Might not be as hard this year, but it'll just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, I enjoy them videos watching John when they go out there and do that when they're bow hunting for antelope.
I got to go with them last year. That was a blast.
In Wyoming, did you go?
Mm-hmm.
You got one down there then?
Yep, I shot my biggest antelope with a bow ever.
Really? Sweet. Yep. What'd that one score for you?
Wayne just scored him here a couple months ago, and I want to say he was right at 72.
Wow. Awesome, man. Awesome.
I didn't know what I'd shot. I knew I'd watched him come over the hill, and I was like, yeah, he's big enough for me to shoot. And so I just kept my head down and was watching my camera. And when he got in and I drew back and shot, I knew he was big enough to shoot. I didn't know what he was until I walked up on him, and I was like, holy smokes.
I mean, it's always great when you walk up and they're bigger when you walk up on them, right?
Especially with antelope, because antelope are really easy to have ground shrinkage.
Yeah. When I shot that one. I mean, the like state buck. I had a res buck once, and I never did shoot an antelope buck before that. But the one I got at Scott's, I would say he was probably about what I thought. But the one I got on the res, when we walked up on him, I was like, crap. But I mean, I wasn't. You're disappointed, but it was still it was a good hunt down there. But anyway, we're gonna take our first break here, Levi. Come back. Let's talk a little bit more about some gear here, and we got to get on what you got here in North Dakota, and we'll talk a little bit. I don't know much about elk either, so I want to ask you a few elk questions here. But we'll do our first double ad here. We'll be back in a few minutes with our guest, Levi Nelson.
That's a war face. Now let me see your war face. You don't scare me.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right, we're back. You there, Levi? We got you. All right.
Yes, sir.
There you go. All right, we're back. Levi Nelson.
A cough drop.
Oh, you just hit that little mute button. You got the same headset I got, right? You got that little mute. Just hit that mute button, and but yeah, there you go. Show some antelope up there. I like that. But yeah, hey guys, you do business with our sponsors. Make sure and tell them you heard it on Guns in the 701 or 701Nation. I like that, man. You got some nice antelope there. I'm jealous. I know somebody just told me yesterday they went down, stopped at Lauer Auto, and I know people have been doing some barrel threadings with Bloodline and then buying ammo, and a guy bought a holster at Double H, and people are going over to Mandan Sporting Goods buying some ammo. Would appreciate it. Make sure when you go in there, you tell them so they know, hey, they got to know that their advertising dollars going to work, baby. So One Shot Cap, good evening, One Shot. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Eric Newman says sometimes you end up in just your underwear sitting in the blind because it's capital HOT for archery antelope.
I did that last year, actually. I shot my South Dakota antelope in my underwear.
Really? Damn, you guys are freaking hardcores, man.
It was 107 degrees, I think, when I shot my goat.
Really? So, all right, I'm curious now. 107. What'd you do? Did you gut it out there in the field? Did you quarter it, or do you do the field quartering, or what'd you do?
So we did like when I shot him, I had So it was actually an outfitted hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was sitting on a hill, about, I don't know, half mile away, and he watched me shoot the antelope. And so within a half hour of me shooting this antelope, like I shot him, 10 ringed him, he ran 70 yards and fell over. By the time I got all my gear out of my blind, the guide had come. We took pictures with him, gutted him, threw him in the back of the pickup, and we had coolers of ice in there. So we stuffed him full of ice, drove back to the lodge, had an adult beverage, cleaned the goat, and he was on ice within an
Of
hour.
course.
It was,
See, I'm not
it was
usually like a
awesome.
big ice guy, but when it's 107, man, I mean, I usually don't worry about it
got
too
it.
much. I mean, yeah, I mean, most people do. I mean, I've told the story a few times, but I mean, my buddies and I have been hunting antelope up in our unit when it was like 60, 65, and they shot him, got him, and drove around all day up in Mercer County and back to Bismarck. And I mean, shit, that was some of the best meat we ever had. But I mean, when it's that hot, I'd be like, yeah, we got to get this son of a buck on ice here. And so One Shot wants to know, have you ever flagged in a buck?
So we tried to. Now, when we were hunting, we were just messing with some antelope, and they didn't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, my brother-in-law and I
I've
tried
heard
that
it.
once too, and no dice. No
Yeah.
dice. But I mean, Wayne said it worked good. They put the decoy up and the wind flops it, and he said, you know, they came in. But and people have said that. I think Scott said he did it, and me. I mean, if I get a tag, so what do you got? So did you? How many points you got for North Dakota antelope draw here?
I have 4, I think.
I thought I
So
did, and then when
was
I
in-
applied, it turned out I had 0. So we'll see what happens.
Shoot. Yeah, that's not good.
Right.
And even with
Right.
4, like, I know there's guys that are like, "Oh, I got 4 or 5 points," and I'm like, I wouldn't even be excited for that because it's like the likelihood of a guy drawing it isn't very good. And luckily for me, like I have enough tags where I'm not really hoping for it.
Yeah.
Um,
You're gonna end up buying like 3
but
freezers.
well, this year I had more tags last year. I actually shot 11 big game animals, so this year's a lot better than last year was.
Dang.
But and I have
Dang.
I don't need to shoot anything this year because I still got the meats.
So just in case anybody's wondering, Levi's not married, because if you're married and have that many tags and go hunting that much, I mean, you're in trouble, man. How old are you, Levi? 25, 26, right? And then you work at a coal mine and your family's ranch, right?
26, yeah.
Yeah, get all that hunting in before you have kids someday, because that'll put the screws to you a little bit then when you get that going on. But it's
I'm just trying to set the base now that if I find a woman, that she's got to be able to put up with it now, and then maybe further down the road I'll slow down a little bit, but at least
maybe you'll get a gal.
at least 5 tags a year.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a big cut into what you're getting now, for sure. That's, I mean, you just tell I do a lot of stuff for love, baby. I got 5 tags. It used to be 10.
At least, I said.
Well, maybe she'll like hunting as much as you, so you never know. We got
I know they always
Josh
tell me
Patterson.
that. They tell
Josh
me if I'm a girl
Patterson
who wants to hunt as much as I do.
Yeah,
It's hard to find a buddy that wants to hunt as much as me, so it's a big
right.
gap.
I mean, I would just say at least just find a gal that likes to go deer hunting or something, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean something, a little bit. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Josh Patterson said, "Woof, that's dedication to sit in the blind in 107," which I agree. Eric Newman, decoys are fun. He said, flagging's tough, but it works sometimes. Kind of like rattling. I've tried rattling, and not one freaking time has that ever done anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do it. I really think it's sounding realistic, and then I bang them and scratch, and yeah. Maybe I just suck at it. Whale in Turner says last time I drew was 2004. He had 8 points. Got 4 points for this draw in antelope in 6A. Yeah, I mean 4 points. I'd love to have 4 points. And when I got my draw in 2020, that was 7 points. So
Yeah.
you never know, though. I could, because I hear people like my buddy drew a buck tag in our unit again. He always claimed he's the most unlucky dude. And I'm like, really? 4 years in a row you got a buck tag, and the last 2 he had 0 points. So Not going for it. So what do you use for? You use a 100 grainer? Do you use fixed or mechanical? What's your choice there?
For antelope, I always use mechanical.
Okay, you switch it up. Huh? Okay.
They're a thin-skinned animal. Um, you're gonna rip a hole in them, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't antelope aren't necessarily the toughest of animals when it comes to getting hit. Like I kn- they don't usually go as far. If you make a hit on an antelope, even if it's not the best shot, they'll go lay down.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put a big enough hole in them, I'm confident I'm going to kill that animal. With like an elk, I struggle a little bit more on what broadhead I'm going to use. With an antelope, if you put a hole through them, they're going to die. So
Like I would say too, if you never hunted an antelope and you do shoot one and walk up on it, you're going to be like, "Wow, that thing's freaking smaller than I thought it was."
yep,
Yeah, 'cause they're definitely to me. I mean, they're always, and there is a big body going up on our place, and I mean, he almost looks like a freaking mule deer's body, and I'm just like, oh my god, if I get drawn, would you please?
yeah,
uh so Eric says his wife gets kind of mad when she doesn't get tagged. See, I mean, Eric's got
there you go.
he's got the woman there, loves hunting, and they got a big family and all his kids that I can tell love to do the same thing. So when you're hunting, what do you use for camo when you're hunting the antelope?
So if I'm sitting in a blind, I'm wearing black,
Okay.
just so it blends in with the back. Like when I shot mine, I was wearing my my brown underwear. I think is all I had on. So he didn't see my white skin against the back of the blind, so I guess it worked. But
Oh yeah, yeah, man. That's great. I know my brother-in-law he bow hunted out at our place once, and I think it was like I got a video of it somewhere. It was like 103, and he can't take the heat. He's a big boy like you. He's a big old American, you know.
mhm.
And I'm like, what do you think of this? You go into the blind, and he just kind of grunted. And when I went when I went to pick him up, man, he was sweating. He's like, I thought I was gonna pass out, and I never want to do that again in that heat.
See, and it don't bug me. I don't know, like where I work in a power plant, and it's hot up there, and
Right.
so I don't know. It's not necessarily fun all the time, but as long as you got water and stuff with you,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, he was a lineman, and he was up in a tree stand. So I'm like, what's the big deal, man?
Hmm.
He never did get one, anyways. But whatever. He enjoys the whole. Even if he doesn't get one, he loves the whole bull hunting thing. But
Hmm.
so like your rifle, you're a 300 Win Mag man. You said, right? As I recall.
Yes, sir. Yep.
What do you use for a bullet on that then?
168 grain AMAXs.
On everything, or just
Yep.
man? If you
Yep.
hit an antelope with that, that's got to rock that thing hard.
So I've only gotten. I want to say I've only dropped. No, I've dropped a couple. I was going to say there's been quite a few of them that I've shot and they've ran on me. But I guess last year I think three of them. I did drop three of them last year with it.
Dang, 160. I mean, like right in their tracks. It's got to be. I mean, that's putting
Mhm.
so much energy into them little suckers that.
But if you don't hit any bone, them suckers will go. I remember the first one I
Yeah.
ever shot with it. I shot it on Standing Rock, and I was right behind the shoulder, and I watched it hit, and I was like, smoked him.
Mhm.
And I got up and I looked, and that sucker ran in a circle for a minute. And you want to talk about getting nervous? I got back down on my gun and racked another round and was trying to track him. Like, where the heck is he going? Like, he's got to die. And finally, he tipped over, and there was no blood left in him.
Yeah,
But
I mean that's unreal. I mean, 300 to the 168. Yeah, that's freaking crazy.
then there's another
Eric says,
one that's hanging up above me. That I shot him in Wyoming, and I was with two of my best friends, and I shot him. And again, looked like I drilled him, and he took off running and ran behind the hill. And we're like, "Where the heck did he go?"
"Oh my god, yeah." I mean, I know you hate that, right? And when they take off running so freaking fast, something,
Mhm.
yeah, that makes your heart get a little fluttery with that. Eric wants to know what unit you have in South Dakota rifle tag.
So I got a South Dakota special tag, so West River special tag, which means that I can hunt any unit in South Dakota as long as it's private land.
All right, so you got some land lined up for yourself then?
Yep. So some buddies and we leased some land in South Dakota
Okay,
for this,
perfect.
so we can
Uh,
do these tags.
don't you guys don't have like your own hunting channel or something?
No. I tried filming with John for a couple of years, and I have a face for radio, and I'll just stick with hunting.
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah,
I think you
filming is
got a
all
great
right.
personality for it, man. Don't. But he said he's got double whitetail in Perkins. So where's Perkins? I'm not very that familiar with South Dakota. Where's Perkins County from Lake Lemon? One shot, he's got any deer north Perkins.
Yeah, they'd have to remind me where Perkins County is.
What do you use for a scope? You got the turrets, or do you got the drop reticles in there?
Yeah, I run a Leupold VX6 with that CDS turret.
Okay, that's right on the money then for you.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it.
How far? So how far does your turrets go to? $1,000 or 800 or what? 6?
So they will go up to 1,500. The farthest I've pushed it is 750.
Yeah, I mean shooting an animal realistically. I mean unless you're shooting like all the freaking time, you know.
And I've target shot to 750, and I've shot a deer at 702.
Sweet. I got it. So what happened when you hit the deer? Where'd you hit him? And I mean, how did he take off, or did he go down, or what happened?
So might not be the most ethical thing people might.
I mean, whatever. Screw him. I mean, that's the way it is.
Facing me. He was dead on facing me. There was zero wind, and the day before I had shot a Crystalix tub at 750 yards, and the sticker on a Crystalix tub is, I don't know, 10 inches by 5 inches or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I was putting
in that sticker. I was putting in that sticker every time.
Damn, that's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
This day I ranged this mule deer. He was dead facing 702 yards. Ranged him, like I said, 702, zero wind. And when I dialed my scope, I was like, "You're dead." Like, I didn't even hesitate. And when I laid down and pulled the trigger, he went over backwards. I mean, it punched him right in the middle of the chest and dumped him. Well, when I walked up, when I cleaned him, when I skinned him out, my lead was on the backside of his butt cheek, on his ham, against his meat and the hide. It went straight through him, all his vitals, and then it went through his pelvis and was laying on the outside of his ham.
Damn. I mean, what do you mean not ethical? That sounds about as ethical as you can get to me.
But a lot of people, they see that dead facing shot and they don't want to take that shot.
Yeah, man, I know people get butthurt about that. I don't. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. You were just blasting. You knew you had it, especially when there's no wind. I mean, when there's no wind, I mean, it's just like, put it right on him where it's. So that was with the 168 as well.
Yep, correct.
I mean, what'd your slug look like? Was it mushroomed out or what?
Yep, it basically had ripped all the, like where it mushroomed off, it basically ripped off all the fingers, and it was basically just a piece of lead. There was a couple little pieces of fingers left, but it had went through that pelvis and basically shattered that pelvis. So there was pieces of lead in there.
Did you hit the bone and the brisket there when you drilled him too then or not?
No, I went above that.
Okay.
Went straight through. I mean, his whole body cavity was full of coagulated blood and.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
he went straight over backwards.
So yeah, a lot of people don't know. Like an AMAX is they say target bullet, but I mean, I'm definitely not in the ilk that thinks target bullets aren't hunting bullets, because I've seen them things kill. In my opinion, almost better than what they claim hunting bullets are a lot of times. Really, I mean, and I have friends, and my dad will swear by it too. He uses match bullets, and I mean, I can't argue with the results he's ever had with the 6.5. He just dumps the hell out of them with that thing. So. And then, and now you said that at 700. I mean, obviously you had a Magnum, but either way, I mean, when you're traveling through that far, and a mule deer's a big animal, and you put it all the way through them like that, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah,
and like I said,
I'm not a ballistics expert by no means, but the guy that reloads for me, he said, "Don't listen to any of the hype on this. Don't listen to anybody telling you this isn't a good round." He said, "Trust the round, and it'll do you fine." And I want to say that I've killed 13 to 15 animals with that round. Now,
awesome.
Between cow, elk, deer, antelope, I mean, bear, and killed a bear with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and want to say the farthest I've tracked anything has been 300 yards, with maybe a misplaced shot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that thing has done amazing for me.
That's awesome. And what kind of rifle you got there again? What? I know it's a 300, but I mean, what? Ooh, nice. That's freaking super sweet, man. Those are really nice. And the loophole with the turrets in there. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's get to we're going to hit some of these comments here, I think. And then we're going to hit our long break here. So Eric Newey says, Lemon is in Perkins County. Okay. Thanks, Eric.
I knew it sounded familiar.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it before, too. I mean, Clay's probably mentioned it to me. And One Shot Cap said the same thing. That's in Lemon. Eric lives in Perkins County. One Shop, he says he might see out there, Eric, east of Shade Hill. And I was at Shade Hill. That looks like some freaking sweet hunting land down there, actually. And your guy, Scotty Pricer, he says, facing shots are my favorite, nothing but jelly inside. Yeah. And that's what you want. Like, people think that's cruel or something. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, when you do that, I mean, they die. I mean, the lungs and the heart, and that's, with that tip bullet like that. Right. I mean, all the energy, usually goes right in, but I mean, you were putting that right up to the rear end almost. So that's, I love that. Oh yeah. One Shot Cap. Is it any deer? Eric wants to know, but down there in Perkins County. So, okay. Awesome, man.
One Shot Cap is.
Well, you got an any too. I got nothing deer is what I got. So, all right, we're coming up here on the long break time, and remember, I still haven't figured out, like Clay and them guys got this folder thing going here for me, and I always got to like triple click on this. So when it sounds like I'm dragging on, I am trying to do this, but this is a long break here. So we're going to be back. I mean, we got like 5 ads, and we got all these sponsors. The coins are just dropping in our pockets from them all. So we got to do it. That's a joke, man. Got
to pay the bills, man.
Yeah, we got to pay the bills, and we do appreciate our sponsors. You guys are awesome. So. All right, we'll be right back here, Levi. I want to talk a little more about like your field dressing techniques here, what you like to do, and what kind of knife you got going, and kind of want to know what you got in your backpack when you get out in these Montana and stuff like that. So we'll be right back. Hang in there, gang. Stick around for the commercials. Make your wife go get you a beer so you don't miss our ads here.
Now let me see your war face. You don't scare me.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Discover the world of firearms at Bismarck's Double H Gun Shop. With a wide range of products from handguns to rifles, we cater to all your shooting needs. We are your local gun experts. Not only do we sell firearms, reloading supplies, targets, and whatever your heart desires, but we also have a ton of knowledge and answers. We shoot, we hunt, we compete, we reload. It's been the Howard's way since 1976, and we ain't fixing to change anything. Visit our website at hhgunshop.com to browse our inventory. Double H Gun Shop, Bismarck's best new and used firearm reloading supply, gunsmithing, and sporting goods store. Double H Guns. Double H Guns. 1021 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Call 701-223-4888.
For every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger, to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
All right, we're back. I snuck that one in on you there, Levi. I saw you pull the headset on, but yeah. Yeah, so we're back with our guest here, Levi Nelson, talking about all the tags he's got here. Levi's got, 8 tags in how many different states?
3 states and 2 reservations.
Dang, that is awesome, man. Love it. Love it. So we what do you like to use for a knife, Levi? I got them both. You know, I got the knife with the gut hook, which I do it like that for gutting them out, and I got I don't know if it's a Kershaw or something with it's a Gerber with the blades, the blades that come in and out of there. What do you like to use when you're out?
So I had been buying knives. I've probably bought 2 to 3 different knives a year for the last 5-6 years. And 2 years ago, I bought a knife called Goat Ibex, and it's this tiny little skeleton handle with replaceable scalpel blades. And I have cleaned every animal I have shot since I bought that knife, and I've cleaned whole elk with it, with a little replaceable scalpel blade, and bear, deer, antelope, everything I've cleaned with just that knife. And I might go through 3-4 blades at an animal, but I won't go to anything different. And I've tried to buy more. Like I almost lost this in South Dakota last year, and so I went online and tried to buy more, and they don't make them.
No way.
And so I've been trying to find one. I found one that's similar. It's a Taito, I think it's called, but I cannot find the same one. And so I finally got that one back this spring in turkey camp, and I will not let that thing leave my
Oh, man. Yeah. So what's a pack of blades cost for it then?
Shoot, I think you get 10 blades for $12.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat. I know guys who like sharpen them up, and I'm like, come on, man, just freaking buy a new set of blades.
There's nothing better than a fresh blade.
Yeah, I agree. See, I was all negative on those when I first got mine, and I don't know. I think it wasn't a Kershaw. It was I might have bought like the off-brand one or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know, wherever I was in runnings or something, like, God, I'm going to Kershaw's around. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try that again. I am happy with that. I don't gut with it. I use I got a buck knife that I gut them with. But yeah, as far as skinning them and cutting the meat, oh man, I mean, that thing is so freaking sweet.
And now I very rarely gut animals anymore. Like we did with that antelope there just because we were going to drive it back and we were going to clean it at the place.
Yeah.
95% of the times I do the gutless method. If anybody ever wants to know how to do it, just go on YouTube and watch Randy Newberg. He'll show you the easiest way to do it. But that is, for me, it's the cleanest, it's the most efficient way for me to do it. And I don't get near as dirty doing it either, and that doesn't hurt my feelings at all.
Yeah. No kid. Yeah, no doubt about that. You don't get the. I mean, I put gloves on when I gut them because it's just getting in there. I mean, but I've done the the gutless too, and yeah, you don't really even need to. So when you do that, do you start on the back, or where do you start when you start taking the skin off? How do you?
So it depends if it's an animal I'm caping, because usually all bucks I'll cape, whether I'm going to mount them or I give my capes to my taxidermist. Or it depends if I got to pack them out a long ways. Because if I'm packing them out, sorry Jake, but I'm not keeping the cape.
Yeah, I don't blame
Usually
you.
I'll try to keep the capes for my taxidermist. If I'll do that, then I will cut them around the midsection first, and then I'll work from the spine down and fold everything over.
Mm-hmm.
And once I do that, then if that hide's laid over, then I can take off quarters, and I can lay that quarter on the clean side of the hide before I need to put them in game bags or what have you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Sounds like you do it like we do it too. I mean, it does work good, but I don't know.
I have such a system when I do this stuff now. Like we made a joke last year when I shot my 5th antelope of the year. I was with some buddies in South Dakota down by Faith, and at that time I think I had cleaned 9 antelope that year. Helping other people and doing my own. And I
Yeah.
told my buddy, I was like, okay, when I start this, start your phone timer. I want to see how fast I can do it. And
Yep.
I'd have to ask Dalton exactly how fast it was, but I want to say it was 35 minutes. I went from completely full antelope to quartered and in game bags.
Damn, that's impressive. Nice
I
work,
mean,
man.
and they were clean. I mean, there wasn't a bunch of hair in it and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Granted, antelope are little, like we talked about, and their
Yeah.
hide is really easy to go off. I think it'll usually takes me two blades to do an antelope, and then if I have to cape the head, it'll be a third.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say when I do a deer, I go 2 or 3 for sure. When I use my blades
Mhm.
too. I mean, when I first had it, maybe that's why I didn't like the first one. I was trying to kind of make them last longer. But you know what? When you got a freaking knife, right? You got your sharpener there anyways, and you're constantly either you pull through whatever you got
Yep.
the what do you call
And
the
I struggle with them. I got a custom made knife that I spent way too much money on, thinking this will be the difference. And after the first animal, it was just like every other freaking knife I had, and I was mad. And it
yeah.
was like this goat ibex. I think I want to say it was $100 knife, and then $12 for 10 blades. And I'll buy
Mhm.
$40 worth of blades at the beginning of the year
Right.
just
Right.
so I have a pile.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I have no issues if I feel like that sucker's dull at all. I'll pull it off, throw another one on, and
Yep.
go.
Yep. I'm the same way as you with that, man. It's yeah, I mean, because yeah, you buy them expensive. Well, this is made out of harder steel. You don't got to sharpen it as much. And I'm like, yeah, I found out too. That was,
And
and I
maybe
mean,
I'm
they're
not good with them. Maybe I'm hitting the bone too much. Maybe I'm
yeah,
cutting at the wrong angle. I don't know.
maybe when I try and sharpen it, I suck at sharpening. Because like some of my buddies, are like well, look at this, and their hair falls off their arm, and I'm like, how come I can't get it to do that? I can take a piece of paper and then I try it on my arm hair, and I'm like, God damn it, why does my arm hair fall off?
Yeah, and it's like I can make it do that with that replaceable blade every time. So
Yeah, and I got like fancy sharpeners. What usually happens when I do that? I freaking burn the tip off of it. It ain't sharp and pointy tip anymore. I got my favorite pocket knife right here. I did it to that sucker too. I'm always like, God damn, tips rounded off. Now what? Guess I have to buy a new knife. But yeah, yeah. So
yeah, I do all of it like that. And even like I don't carry a saw with me because a lot of my hunts are backpack hunts, whether they're a
yeah, I was just
mile
gonna
away
ask you,
or
what do you got in
something.
your backpack when you're going deep in?
So I have my kill kit, and my kill kit's got a crap ton of replaceable blades. I have that knife, and then I have a goat. I think it's called the tar. It's another knife, and it's basically the same skeleton handle with a full blade. And I have it in there. I don't really use it. It's there in case maybe I run out of blades or something.
Yeah.
It's just there if I need it as a backup. Say I end up losing my replaceable blade knife. I got wet wipes. Usually I have gloves. I have my envelope of tags. Just stuff like that. Pen, tape.
You got any first aid stuff like tourniquet and stuff like that and
Yep.
clot
So
stuff?
I actually Go Hunt actually has in their Go Hunt shop, they have a bunch of different tourniquet or med kits you can buy that are pre-assembled. And so I bought one of theirs that was pre-assembled. They have it in this big, heavy, fancy case. I threw the case away, put it in a little Tyvek bag because I'm carrying enough weight the way it is. I don't care what the bag looks like. But so then I have that all in there. I have a tourniquet. I have gauze pads, quick clot, stuff like that. I'm notorious for cutting myself every time I clean something.
Yeah.
So I am always got Band-Aids or whatever just in case.
It's usually somebody else either pokes me or cuts me. I usually don't get myself, but
Well, I
my
can't
dad's
blame it
even
on anybody else. It's always me.
all right, I'm gonna hit a few of these comments here real quick. See here, Eric says I like the Haviland knife with replaceable blades, or I also like the Outdoor Edge with replaceable. Hey, I think the Outdoor Edge is the one I had, man. That Gerber I got is freaking sweet. I love that thing.
Yeah, I think they all make pretty good replaceable blade knives.
Yeah, but like I said, the first one I had, I didn't switch the blade out soon enough, but what I seen Eric had. He uses a gutless method too, is what Eric says. A one-shot cap. He uses a Montana Ruana handmade knife from my father-in-law. His father-in-law makes knives, freaking sweet, man. I like that. Eric Newman, my Outdoor Edge knife has a replaceable blade. I'm on my 5th year, same blade, and I use it on everything. But I resharpen it. See, he's one of them guys who resharpens it replaceable.
With how much money you're saving on blades, Eric, you should be able to buy lots of tags.
Oh, that's funny. That's freaking funny. So what kind of backpack you got? Because I bought cheap ones for years, and I finally bought a good one, and it's lasted me. So I'm just curious what you got going.
So I am a backpack snob. I have yet to find one that I really love. I was organizing my hunting room the other night, and I had them all hanging in my closet, and I was like, I think I got a problem because I got so many of them hanging. And the one I've been using, it's a KFYR, and I really like it, but it doesn't fit all my boxes. I'm in between. There's a company that John Armin has worked with for years called Black's Creek, and there's a lot of things on their packs that I love, but there's some things I don't. And then the same thing with KFYR. If I could find a way to blend those two packs together, I might end up taking them apart and putting them together. But I don't know. Which one
Levi's Dakota backpacks or something, man. You got something to invent there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the same way. I think I got like the ultimate backpack, and then I use it, and I'm like, something about a zipper will bug me or something. And I'm if I can reach in here and
they don't fit right, or like Mystery Ranch was always like. I mean, I watched Randy Newberger. I still do to this day, and they swear by the Mystery Ranch packs. And I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but them things are trash. I hated it, and I wore it out in 2 seasons, and I did not hunt that. I mean, I hunt a decent amount, but I don't hunt that much where I should wear this gear out that fast.
Right.
And
that's what happened to my. When I didn't. I'm not saying the cheaper ones, but. Yeah, when I'm out at the ranch, I'm constantly in and out, digging in my backpack, moving, and just bouncing around the back of my side-by-side. It would wear like through the bottom of the damn things, and I would piss.
Well, then, like packing animals out, like I think my Mystery Ranch packed out maybe 7 animals in 2 years, and everything was stretched out. I broke like 2 buckles on it, and I'm like, this is supposed to be this top-notch gear.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I abuse the crap out of my gear. I don't baby any of my gear. I'm not saying that I take the best care of it. But my goodness, I wasn't in Alaska hunting or anything, so should have been that bad.
Right? Yeah, should have lasted a little more. I mean, yeah, that doesn't seem like that long, really. So what? If somebody doesn't know, what's the cost of one of those?
So I think that the mystery ranch pack that I have, I want to say they're close to $600.
Yeah, I mean that should. That should last more than 2 years easily, man. I mean that should almost be, I'm saying like a decade. It should last, really.
And I think I want to say my Kafaru is over 700. But I will say the one thing with my Kafaru is everything that I packed out that bear in one trip, and I packed out that big mule deer last year in one trip. And both times it looked like a fat girl in yoga pants. Like it looked like it was going to burst at every seam, and it held together the entire way.
Awesome.
I didn't have no buckles break. I didn't have any issues with that. But that's my issue with it is so tight. Like I want a little bit more room. And then, but you're already at the point where I spent $700 on a pack. Am I going to go spend $800 on a bigger pack?
So what's the most expensive backpack you ever seen?
Oh shoot! I think some of them Stone Glaciers and some of Kafaru's bigger ones. I mean, you can get into it close to $1,000, depending on the frame that you have, and I think Kuyu has some pretty expensive ones. They're all different, and all my packs are frame packs. So, because I'd say 90% of my hunts, I'm packing animals out if I shoot one. And if you can pack an animal out without a frame, you're tougher than I am. Because that is not a fun endeavor.
Kelsey says TFAC in the truck and homemade trauma kit and 511 tactical backup. I love 511. I actually like 511 tactical pants. I think my wife gets mad at me sometimes because I wear them, and she's like, "God, really? You're wearing these pants out again?" And I'm like, "I don't know, they fit me good and they feel comfortable, and they got a bunch of pockets. Yeah, they get pockets everywhere, man. I love 511 stuff. I mean, in case they're listening, just kidding.
Hit me up.
Yeah, sure. Just like Coors Light will sponsor us. I mean, I just forgot. Kelsey had something back a ways. Yeah, he said something about his AR upper. I know we're talking a little hunting, but I wouldn't mind. I tell you what, I don't know where that comment is, Kelsey, but get a hold of Bloodline Kinetics. He'll hook you up with a nice upper, and then you make that baby any color you want. Good guy too, real good guy. Man, he's got some big. I think I said he's got a huge freaking elk in there that he just Euro mounted, and I walked in and I'm like, man, you didn't full head that thing. I'm not an elk hunter, but I know what a big elk looks like, and he got it down on Standing Rock. So, and there's some big ones down there. There you go. He's in it, man. Sweet. Awesome. All right. So, you got to, when's the first date you're going? You got all these tags. When's your first day out hunting?
So, August 22nd is when my season's going to start. And I will be hunting every day off there until almost January 1st.
Man. So I guess, man, you're not even going to be listening to the podcast. You'll be like, I'm busy, man. I didn't hear that. I didn't catch that.
Save them for at night at the camp.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're done or midway through the season, we're definitely going to have to get. So what's the first animal you're hunting? It's antelope, I'd assume, right?
Antelope, yep.
When's the next season that opens up for you is deer, or when is elk?
Archery deer. Yep. September 7th is when Montana archery elk starts, and I'll be basically living out there.
And that's what you want to get it with is archery, or don't you care? I mean, that's your preference, or what?
A big elk would be cool with regardless bow gun. It doesn't matter to me, but going out early. The elk are vocal. They're easier to find. They're more susceptible to calling, easier to sneak in on, less people. It's just more conducive for that. If it comes to rifle, I'm not going to turn it down. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But I got 21 days slotted on my schedule to archery elk hunt.
Yeah, and I mean you might get lucky, but I mean, like I know some guys from Golden Valley who have went out there archery and they all came back next week, and they're like, "Yeah, we were out there for like 2 days, and we all got them." I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, it was the luckiest freaking hunting." And they're big bow hunters too. So, Kelsey
last year I hunted
says
7 days.
just in a row.
Yep, I hunted 7 days, and on the 7th morning, I killed my bull.
And on the 7th day,
Yep.
God created the bow hunter.
he decided to shine light on me.
Yeah, perfect. That's freaking great, man. I mean, so what was that? I mean, how big of an elk was? What would that one score? Was it something you were looking for, or you're just like, all right, it's a big bull, and it's not what I want, or was it what you're looking for?
So this was my first elk tag I'd ever had, and I would have shot a spike. I wouldn't have cared. I did. An elk was an elk, and we got into him that 7th morning, and we got in on a really big herd bull, and then a bunch of satellite bulls. And the big herd bull took his cows and went on to private land where we couldn't go. And the satellite stayed back when we're bugling and fighting. And my buddy and I were like, let's run in here. Like, we have a chance. And so we ran in behind that herd and started cow calling, trying to make the satellite bulls think that herd bull lost some cows. And they came in above us, and we were in some buckbrush, and they were looking down on us about 115 yards. And they just were staring in that brush. Well, we wouldn't call because they were looking at us.
Yeah.
Well, they sat there for 10, 15 minutes and wheeled around and went back off the backside of that hill. Well, as soon as they couldn't see us, we cow called again, and you could see the tops of their antlers. As soon as we called, they wheeled and they were coming. And it was 9-0, they were coming for it. And so we got to the edge of the brush, and my buddy, I thought he was going to try to range for me, but everything happened so fast. That bull come around the corner, and I guesstimated the range, drew back, and heart punched him at 65 yards. And I couldn't have told you, JD, what shot. I couldn't have told you how big he was. And at 65 yards, he looked like he was humongous. And I mean, he looked humongous when I walked up to him too. But he scored 284. Which isn't a giant.
I mean, that ain't bad, man. I mean, that's not bad.
I'm tickled with him. He's mounted at Rusty's Saloon in St. Anthony. If anybody ever wants to go see him,
I got
no room in my house for him. So
usually when Axe and I go shooting prairie dogs, we definitely make it a stop at Rusty's when we're on the way.
Definitely have to stop in there and see him. And then Jake Fenrick is the one who actually called that bull in for me, and then he mounted it. So if anybody sees that mountain and is impressed with that taxidermy, remember JB's Wildlife Designs, because he knocked that sucker out of the park.
Awesome, man. See, now I got a better excuse to go prairie dogging too, because I got to see your elk down there at Rusty's. By the way, their food's freaking awesome. Every meal I've had there was freaking.
And the beer's always cold.
Oh man, the beer is so cold and good. Kelsey says 6mm a decent hunting round. And I know he's building that AR, and I think he's talking 6mm arc. I mean, everything. I want to say, if you can, keep that thing in 400 yards. Yeah, I mean, with modern bullet design, and some people will probably say you can go farther than that or not as far. It's 243 basically. 243 bullet, not as fast, obviously. I mean, a 6mm out of an AR with an 18-inch barrel is probably going. Man, I want to say like 20, 26 probably. That's like 103 grain, 105. Long, skinny looking, but yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I got a Grendel, and I haven't tested on the gel. We're gonna this fall because I don't even have a freaking tag, but I'm doing it 400 because I shot.
You could just lend me a couple of guns, and I could do some testing for you this fall.
Well, hey, you know what you should do? Bring that 300 up sometime. We'll go out to Axes with the ballistics gel, and we'll set that baby out there like 400. And I'd love to do that.
That'd be fun. I'm all for that.
I mean, how often do you see guys test like 300 in ballistics gel? Not very. I know there's a couple of guys I've seen do on YouTube, but
while we're at it, I'll bring my new gun up too. I have a I always name my guns, but so my 300's Big Bertha, and I don't know what I'm going to name. I got a 50 cal muzzleloader. It's a CVA Paramount Pro, and it's basically a single shot rifle. I mean, this thing is bad to the bone.
Yeah,
I want to see that sucker through ballistics. Jugs.
Oh yeah, we talked about that because I have honestly I have never seen anybody do it with a muzzle loader.
With a Magnum charge, 250 grain.
So you talking like the tipped Hornady, like one of those or something? Oh my God, yeah, we got to do that, dude. That'd be freaking awesome. I would love to freaking do that. Yeah, let's. Yeah, I mean, once you get some time in between them tags, you know, let me know ahead of time. We'll set something up with axe. Kelsey says just stick with the Grendel. Yeah, I mean, I love the Grendel, man. The Grendel's heavier, little slower, so I mean, you're getting a little more. Man, I mean, I shot. We were talking about hunting with match bullets. I shot just a water jug at 500 with mine, and I mean that was like 2,400 feet per second, right? And I mean that blew the hell out of that, and I never did recover it, but I knew it because I could see the exit on the back of the, you know.
That's how I do a lot of my practice with my 300 before season, as I set milk jugs out with water.
Yep. I mean, that's a kill shot, right? That's a kill zone. But I mean, I never get tired of watching jugs blow up either. So
that's awesome.
Kelsey's got he's got a 300 black, and he had that out at Axes. Actually, he was pretty snipey with the iron sights, man. I was pretty impressed with because he got down. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna bang this gong out here like 120. I'm like, yeah, let me see that. It was a smaller one, and I was like, I didn't say it out loud, but in my head, and I'm like, all right, I'm glad I didn't say that out loud because I look like a dipshit. But yeah, he was pretty good with it. He was pretty good. But my daughter, I just got to brag a little bit. We were out at Axes there the other day, and we got her out, and I was glad it was windy because I wanted to show her. I got the ballistic, the drop reticles, and the rifle she was using. And I was happy for that because I'm like, you're going to learn today what wind drift is. And, she's young. She never hunted, and she loves shooting. And I said, aim right at that jug at 200. And I knew because the wind, I think it was 13, just dead across. And it went, I could see it was going just to the right. And I'm like, all right, told her how to do it. And then she hit like 6 milk jugs in a row. And then we got like the honeydew melons. I'm like, this is a little bigger than a deer's heart. If you can hit these. And then she just pulverized them both. And yeah, she was jacked up. So I'm out. I'm out one bolt action 223 rifle with a suppressor on it. She said, this is mine, right? And I'm like, yeah, I can't say no.
Got to get another one.
Yeah. Damn, Dad's got to get. Well, hey, I'm going to talk to. We're getting that AR from Bloodline. I'm going to have him build me a nice bolt action there, 6mm mark maybe.
There you go.
He said he uses that 300 for his truck gun. He's teaching the boy irons. I did see that. He was, I mean. You got to learn iron sights, man. And you can take a lot of pride in hitting shit with iron sights too. I love shooting freaking iron sights.
I got a really cool peep sight set up for that muzzle loader that I'm really excited to play with.
Oh, that's what you're doing with just right because muzzle loaders you can't use any magnification, right? It's just good.
Depends on the state. Every state's got different rules. Because like I have scopes and red dots and sights for different states because when I finally draw North Dakota's muzzleloader, I have a red dot that I'll put on it. If I draw Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah now, I'd put my peep sight on it. Now if I draw Rosebud, Nebraska, Arizona, I can put a scope on it. So
what do you think you're more accurate with? I mean, do you feel more, or is it just 100%. It is a red dot? So I'm saying like between this red dot and the peeps. What do you think?
So I have not shot with the peep sight on it yet. The red dot to 100 yards, it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But you go past 100 yards. I mean, even a deer. I haven't shot a deer with it yet, but your peep sight. I mean, your red dot almost covers the deer.
Right.
I mean, if you're
unless you get a real expensive one, it's like the real tiny MOA dot. But
when I have a pretty expensive Leupold one on it, and it's still, I mean, it's not a.
But I mean, you are pretty much driving a train through it with that 50 cal.
Yeah, you get me between the front leg and the back leg, we're gonna take him home.
I mean, I'm honestly, man. When you watch hunting shows and them guys hit him with the muzzle loaders, I mean, they're not super fast and can't shoot, but I mean, them deer freaking tip over more often than not when they hit them with that thing, man.
So I've done a lot of research on this gun and the way different guys have mixed up their Magnum loads for this, and you can push that sucker 2,200 feet per second.
Wow! I mean, that's impressive right there. That's a
single shot rifle, basically.
Wow!
I mean,
I'm gonna say that deer's going down in just pure shock when you hit it with that.
And people, like, I've gotten into this discussion before, and they're like, "Well, you're making it too easy." Well, at what point? I mean, you make it too easy, and ethics go hand in hand. Like, I want to make it as easy as I can to harvest that animal ethically.
Right? Oh, I agree with you.
Harder for myself. That's like, I joke. I have buddies that hunt with a recurve, and I'm like, I ain't killed enough stuff yet to feel like I need to shoot a recurve.
Wow. I mean,
my compound.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything's getting easier, and as technology goes, I mean, what do you do? I mean, like you said, it's more ethical, man. I mean, just like they didn't want lighted pins in your bow. I mean, I was always like, that's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I mean, you can see so much better. I grew up pulling a recurve back and letting that baby fly, and man, the first time I shot one with them pins in it, I was like, oh my God, this is freaking great, man. So Kelsey says, Big Uncle Jamie is showing. Absolutely, I'll show him. Bring him up. Bring him up. Let's get him doing the ropes. We got. He'll probably be banging a 50 cal out at Axel's place there before you know it. Eric says, South Dakota, you can use up to 1 power scope for muzzleloader.
Same as North Dakota.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, 1 power is basically 0, but I mean.
And so right. I did a lot of research with that, and I talked to different guys on what the benefits would be to go either a 1 power scope or a red dot. And most guys were like, your red dot, you're going to have better, it's not going to seem so small. Like, when you look through a 1 power scope, it's like looking through a toilet paper roll. I mean, it looks like they almost look smaller than they do with open.
Right. Scope. Yeah. And you look at your eye and you're like, what? Really? Yeah. I agree with you.
I think the red dot over the 1 power scope for me looked better. Everybody's different. If I can use it, I'm going to use the red dot. But
yeah, to me, I would probably. I actually like green dots better because my eye sees it better. But yeah, irrelevant. But yeah, if I had to go with no power scope or a dot, I'm going with the freaking dot. Just I think. I mean, even honestly, if you got good iron sights, like you're saying that peep, I mean. All right, I'll tell you what, we're gonna have to hit the last ad here before we'll come back. So I got to go through this whole damn deal again. I got Clayton. We got this folder thing going. It is going to be handy when I eventually get it figured out for 701Nation here to where it works. But anyway, we're gonna hit the last 2 ads, Levi. We'll come back. You got anything in mind you want to hit on? Because I know, like I say, I like to go an hour, but we're over that. But I enjoy talking to you. We got a good conversation going. But if you got anything off the wall you want to add here or something more you want to hit on, we come back. Let's do it, buddy. So we'll be back. All right, we'll be back here with Levi in short order.
That's a war face. Now let me see your war face. You don't scare me.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right, we're back. We're back with Levi Nelson. Make sure you do any business with our sponsors. Tell them you heard it on Guns in a 701 or 701 Nation. And actually, Bloodline, yeah, he does all that. And you can take any rifle in there you want. Like you got Levi, if your grandpa left you something there or whatever, you wanted something engraved on their laser, and he can do something like that for you. Awesome work, too. I know. We were talking about knives. I know I got some knives. I gave my youngest a knife for her birthday a couple of years ago, and I had whatever. It was a Kershaw, and they did it, however. But, if you got a knife or something, anything you want lasered on, he can get that done for you down there. That's some damn good work. Jake's a very talented guy.
Engrave the names on my guns, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, I like that idea, actually. That's perfect, man. That is perfect.
I've been thinking about it for a while on that muzzleloader, but I had been hearing. I like reading a lot about Theodore Roosevelt and stuff, and I can't remember the caliber that he used. Somebody's going to correct me here. It's like 41. Is it a 41?
Boy, I don't know. I know what you're saying. It was kind of to me an oddball one, but I mean,
I'm going to say 4170, and I know that's wrong, but it's 41 something, I think.
Lever action, right?
Yep. He called it Big Medicine. That is what I want to name that muzzleloader, is Big Medicine.
Oh, I love it. I love that. That's perfect, man. Yeah. Hey, like I said, take it up there and talk to Jake and have him, whatever font you want in that baby, man. That'd be freaking perfect. Love it. I love that.
My arms all tatted up.
Yeah, you get Big Medicine tattooed on your arm there. All right, so I tell you what I'm going to do before we keep going here. I'm going to do. I always like to do an armed citizen here. Or a happy ending, whatever we call it. So we got one here from June 6, 2024. Guy in Lufkin, Texas, sitting in his vehicle with his wife and his infant outside a business. And of course, here somebody approaches his vehicle, wants to do a little carjacking, right? Yeah, this guy looks. He's got his wife and kid in here. This scumbag. I'll get his pickup real easy here. Well, the dude in the vehicle warned this carjacker repeatedly that he was armed. Guy didn't believe him, or he was just had rocks for brains. Didn't think nothing was going to happen. Ignored the warning. Continued to try to break in. Whereupon the father fatally shot the guy. The 47-year-old carjacker, 47. By the time you're 47, Levi, you think you'd know a little better, right?
100%.
You should have. Most of your shit should be relatively together by the time you're 47, or you're not carjacking. But obviously, this guy didn't. Turned out, this can be a big surprise to you and people listening here and watching. Turned out to have been released from the county jail less than an hour earlier, where he had been serving time for assault and family violence charges. Authorities reviewed the security footage from the business and stated that no charges against the armed citizen were going to happen. So, happy ending right there. Luckily, the guy had a firearm to protect himself. He got out of jail an hour earlier, right? And the guy's, unbelievable.
This is horrible.
But guess what? There's one less scumbag in the world. He's not going to carjack any vehicles anymore. Did you, me, and every other taxpayer in America, and particularly Lufkin, Texas, a favor. So, great story right there. I love to hear that sort of thing. But so, I was listening to a podcast yesterday. It was a guy who worked in he worked in a hospital, right? He was a trauma surgeon or whatever, and he was talking about he was on the Guns Magazine podcast. I think a cop does that, a former cop, and he said if anybody would just come into a trauma unit for one night, where they bring in the police, how they bring in these people all night. He never carried guns. I mean, he wasn't anti-gun, but he didn't think carrying a gun was. He said this, when he worked there. He said to this, after he started working in this hospital and seeing what kind of evil, crazed, unhinged people on a nightly basis that come in. He said the only time I'm ever without a gun is when I'm sleeping or if I'm in a shower. He said everybody should have to. And I always think that way. Like I'll say that to my wife. I'll see this video and she's like, "Why do you watch that?" And I'm like, just to remind myself that these people, like this guy in the video said, they're walking around with you in Walmart. You're filling gas. They're pumping gas in their tank next to you. And he's like, trust me, they're everywhere around you. You have no clue,
Yep. The only thing that beats a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
That 100% right. Right. And I mean, then you have people, well, that doesn't guarantee you. Right. But it gives you a freaking chance. Whereas without it, you got zero, man.
Yep, 100%.
And it just makes me feel good. I like touching steel, touching my skin. It feels good. All right, so Eric said, I like this here. This is a good one. We were talking about bows and crossbows and whatnot, right? Muzzleloaders. He said his dad uses a homemade longbow with homemade arrows, that's some good craftsmanship right there. I like that. He teases me about using training wheels when I shoot a compound bow.
So my question with that is, who shoots more deer?
Right. Yeah. Right. And puts it in the pump station. Right. Yeah.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
Well, I was getting a kick, like Scott Bachmeyer said it many times. Crossbows. He's like, you guys know these things are like thousands of years old, right? Crossbows. They've been around for. But they're cheating now. Mm-hmm. So,
and I've never had any issues with crossbows. If it's legal, I have no issues with it. That's the same thing when it goes from bait. Yeah. Anything. I don't have issues with it. There's people that think gun hunting is not ethical.
Right. Right.
I'm
not. Yeah. And my cousin Dave in Georgia. Thanks for listening, Dave. He's going night, headed to bed. Appreciate it. Make sure you make sure Trump wins Georgia and you get the rest of them leftists out. Yeah. But what you're talking about, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always like recurve and compound bows. Even when I was. When I first saw compound, I remember, I saw the Rambo bow. They had them in Shields. Like when Shields is like a way smaller store in Bismarck. I mean, you saw Rambo like when he goes back to Vietnam and they leave. Yeah, they had a bow and it had like the Rambo. It said Rambo on it, and I thought that was the most. I wanted that thing so damn bad, but no dice. But I mean, people had compound bows and I shot them, and I was like, man, this is so much better because I was used to, pull and release, point and shoot. Kind of, I mean, that's kind of like a recurve is, right? You don't. I didn't aim them. It was kind of like a shotgun, point and shoot kind of thing. Man, and I did that, and I was like, yeah, this is what you want, frickin' if you're gonna hunt game, man, because you're gonna, it's so much better. And I will admit, I've kind of changed my stance on crossbows when we had John on talking about it, and. I did look in a few other states. And the harvest numbers did go up, and I'm like, all right, people think I never, admit I'm wrong. I gotta admit, I probably was wrong on that. And I told John that I'm like, you know what, you're probably right. But Minnesota, I haven't seen the numbers out of Minnesota this year yet because they made them legal before this season, and. When they did that, like the archery stores are like, yeah, we used to sell like one a week, and now we're selling like two a week, and it's so I'm kind of curious to see. But I think the deal I looked at was in Ohio, and Ohio was saying like, our harvest numbers are way up. But I think isn't Ohio just like deer like mice there, right? They're everywhere.
Yeah, I know that, but you can hunt over bait and with crossbows there. And I listened to a podcast.
Bait, that's cheating.
Yeah. I listened to a podcast that they said they struggle with their age range of deer because people are going out and they're shooting 2-3-year-old bucks over bait with crossbows. Well, you can do that anyway.
Right.
It doesn't.
my theory on that is like you got to have land to hunt anyway. You can get a crossbow all you want, but if you got nowhere to hunt and the deer isn't coming, it doesn't matter if you got, like I told you, that raven that shoots 500 feet per second. You're shooting, 2-inch groups or whatever they do at 100. If the deer ain't there, it doesn't matter what the hell it does.
Like in certain circumstances, I could see, like if I had, say, that raven and I went spot and stock mule deer hunting in the Badlands.
I mean, it'd help. It would help.
I could see it helping a little bit, and then you're not having to draw back, and use that extra movement. If I could just slide over the hill and,
So here's the thing with that, like, because I know the biggest mule deer that I would have ever. Well, I got one mule deer with my crossbow. And I don't bow hunt every year. If I get a rifle tag, I don't bow hunt. Anyway, I missed it, but I had my bow freaking cocked because I went in dark and I cocked it because, you can't, here comes the deer. They hear it. It's not, the cranks, I could get a crank for the one I got too, but I don't. Maybe they're quieter, but I got a drawstring. It's way faster. But I had it cocked for like hours. I don't remember how many hours, and I shot and it went under the son of a gun, and I'm like, and I felt like I had like a good hold on it, right? It was 60 yards, but it was like you said, it was looking at me, and I thought I was going to intersect him, but he was on top of a hill, and I was like, I knelt down, I'm like, I got you. Mm-hmm. And I watched that then lighted knock right underneath him, and I just couldn't, and I'm like, there's no way. Well, I thought about it. I'm like, it was cocked that long. And then when I got my new one, I asked the guy, and he's like, oh, no, modern bows, you can leave them, crossbows, you can leave them cocked for like 6 hours. I'm like, Well, and I read the owner's manual, and I think Barnett says, don't, if you leave them cocked for more than 3 hours. But
I also wonder if you're shooting uphill too, your ballistics or whatever you want to call it are different. That's like when you're shooting downhill. They tell you to aim lower.
So I thought of that too. So I went up and got a second shot at this sucker, right? Because I seen him looking at me, and I went up, and then you know what I did? I left my freaking cocking string in where I was sitting right away. But the adrenaline, true story, I grabbed the freaking thing and I cocked it with my finger. My fingers hurt like hell for like 3 days, but he comes out.
Now, wait a minute. If you can do that, how do you get a crossbow license?
You got to have like a bunch of shoulder surgeries, and I actually have a wrist surgery again next month. I just went in today. I know. But yeah, so I did. He was 70 yards. I held high because I'm like, the sucker went low, and I was on top. So then I was on top of the ravine, and he was down, and I'm like, I never shot it at 70 before, but I'm like, I think this is where it is. Went underneath him again. I thought when it flew, I let it go, and I was like, oh, got him. Nope, went right underneath him, and then I never did see him again. But yeah, Jeb will probably watch this and be like, yeah, we're going to revoke your crossbow thing.
Jeb's been nice to me, so please be nice, Jeb.
He's got to go against my surgeon, man. So yeah. No, all right. Let's get to some of these comments here. I'm digging the conversation here. All right. So Kelsey says, "Give me a whisker biscuit, brother. Give me a bear and a whisker biscuit." Yeah, he's my brother, man. Got into bow, and then he's he's like way in on it. So yeah, you can keep your longbow. He says, "Oh hell no, I don't know what maybe he's talking about my crossbow." Yeah, but I know, like I said, I kind of changed my tune on it. I thought like everybody should maybe have a crossbow, and then I was like, I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong on that too. Like I said, you got to have land to hunt, and the deer's got to come in, and
yeah, I don't feel any certain way on it. I guess if somebody wants to hunt like that, they should be able to. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to try to justify. And you look at the bows that are being made now. Like my bow compared to the bows that were 10 years ago. Where do you draw the line?
Right, and they keep getting faster. There's compounds out there going like 350. Right.
Ooh, 350 would be fast for.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. I was looking at some online there, and they're like, well, they stated IBO is 350, and I'm like, it's like 30 feet per second slower than my crossbow here, man.
Maybe they were shooting with 33-inch draw, and
Yeah, I didn't get too into it.
Grain arrow or something. I don't know.
And maybe they're blowing it out of proportion. The company trying to, because you see something fast and people, oh yeah, and I'm guilty of that with my reloads. When I do reloading, I'm like, look at the velocity on that sucker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but again, the faster you get with the bow, I mean, does it affect the accuracy? And I had that one when I shot one of my crossbows in that video. You said you saw that thing just flex when it came out of there, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it was that particular bolt, because it didn't do it with the Barnett ones.
Well, and if you look at like, I know the old intro to the Crush with Lee and Tiffany, they shot a bow and an arrow, and the arrow, when it comes off, it's like wavy. I mean, it's like goes like this, and that arrow flexes the whole way. I mean,
yeah. It didn't affect the accuracy. So, the one that I shot before that shot out like an arrow straight, and that one flexed, and it was like an inch to the right of it. And then, that was at, I don't know, 30 yards, I think I did it. Kelsey said, yeah, he's got his bear's is 70 pounds and 320.
320 is freaking fast.
Yeah.
What's your draw, Kelsey? What length?
Yeah, he ain't a very tall guy, but he's stacked like a brick shit house. So
because usually, like when you have longer draw, that's more energy pushing it. You usually don't see super high velocities out of shorter armed guys, just because you don't have the energy to push it.
Right.
Depending on the bow too, like my bow, I think I'm 30 and a half draw, and I'm shooting 73 pounds, and I'm like 295, but I'm shooting a fairly heavy arrow, and so yeah, everybody's different. I was helping a buddy sight in his bow the other day, and he had it's a Mission, and I gave him crap. I said, that's a kid's bow. And
yeah, they make crossbows, see.
Well, it's a little bow, and he's not a very large individual either. I think he's 5'5", but
so what does that shoot if you ran it through a chrono? What is that?
I gave him crap the other day. I said I probably could catch his arrow, but
just stand there.
He's probably around 230 to 240.
Wow, that is slow.
But he's killed animals with it. Yeah, 29. 29's pretty decent. As far as length, but that sucker's cooking.
Yeah, 320. Usually when that's like I said, maybe look that up when we're done here. But when I told you, I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was a Hoyt that I thought it was a Hoyt or a Matthews. I thought that was going that fast, but I thought a couple companies did it. But like I said, I don't know that speed would affect the accuracy, because that's not a good trade off for me. Then if you can go faster and your accuracy sucks, then I'm like,
I think with the bows today, I don't think your accuracy is being given up. I think. Excuse me, man.
Have a drink of that tall one there.
Yeah. I think with how good the bows are nowadays, I don't think your velocity is really affecting your accuracy. I think they're pretty good. Kelsey, he's never clocked it, but the guy told him it would.
He said so. The internet's so. I'll tell you what, Kelsey, bring him back. Axe and I both have chronos. Well, let's run it through there and verify it. Because, like I said, my crossbow claimed 405, and it was 269 and 270 with the two I ran through. What's that?
What chrono are you running now?
I got it's a pro chrono, and Axe has what's Caldwell, I think. But he sent me a picture today. He was looking at the radar ones,
I have I can't think what mine is. I bought mine from Jason Zins out of Fargo. It's the ones that you attach to the front of your barrel.
Yeah.
But them new, those Garmin Zeros.
Yeah, because there's the bigger orange ones, and he said it's not as small as a Garmin, because I seen them both. The Garmins look like a freaking little cell phone, and
I've used it at Shields. That's what I tested my bow off of. Them things are the real deal, but
So
I don't know if I can justify spending the money on it
yeah,
for the little bit I use.
my question would be, I would like to see like somebody shoot through a Garmin and this other one, the orange one, I can't think of the name, and then shoot it through like an old school one, like I got with the wires, and I want to see if it's
That's a good
different
idea.
at all, right?
That's a
I
good
would love to see that. See, Axe, he's not
Magneto
listening, but
speed. That's what mine is. Magneto
yeah.
speed.
Yep, there you go. That's exactly what it is. So, Axe, if you listen to this, go ahead and buy that, and let's do that test. Yeah,
Right off, Axe. Come on now.
yeah. You can just write it off as advertising, man. You can do that thing. Oh, what Kelsey? This is his Hoyt is a beast to pull, but I love the bear. Yeah, that's what I said. But I mean, like I said, the guy's he's a pit bull, man. He's thick like you. He's not a little skinny dude like me, and tears his shoulder up twice, and the wrist get blown out and shit.
I have a Hoyt that's got 80. I think it's 83 pounds because it was the 80-pound limbs, and we dialed it up. And that one is the fastest one I've ever shot, and I had it at 298. And
See,
I
I mean,
felt like that one was cooking. But
yeah, I mean, most bull guys I know would say that's pretty good. And I mean, so at that velocity, I mean, how far would a deer be? I mean, can you still like those deers at 60? That arrow's going through.
I would think so.
I mean, unless you hit something, but
I shot my elk at 65 last year, and I didn't get a complete pass through, but I hit ribs on both sides, and I had a mechanical broadhead. So, and an elk is a bigger animal than a deer, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, arrows can go through more shit than people think. Really, in my experience with them, I'm kind of surprised how they actually can penetrate even when they're going slower. But and that's what it's all about. I mean, and what'd you say? You use mechanicals or no? You use fixed on the elk, or did you say you use mechanicals there too? So what brand do you use for that?
So last year I used a True Glow broadhead on that elk hunt. This year,
like the guys who make like scopes, some True Glow scopes, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
They were a sponsor of John's, and so I'd been using them, and I'd liked them, and so I'd used it on that elk, and it worked. But this year I'm doing all Rage. I'm using the Rage tripans. I've seen so much with them that I think that you can't go against them. I think so. That's what I'm going to be using this year. Last year I think I shot 4 animals with a bow, and I shot them with 3 different broadheads. So.
Yeah,
not very good test.
So a good side note on True Glow, they moved the hell out of Colorado when they started doing all their anti-gun shit and moved up to Wyoming like Magpul.
A lot of companies are doing that. KFYR did the same thing. They moved out of Colorado and moved to Wyoming.
So so like when Kelly's governor, I want him to talk to all these ammo companies and everybody. And why would you want your company? I mean, they're almost anti-hunting places. You know what I mean?
When you look at a lot of these companies are going into Montana too, but they're in areas like Bozeman and Missoula, which are like the most liberal areas in Montana.
Yeah, they go there and it's like Blackhawks there, right? Like it makes AR shit, and I'm like, hey,
Sitkas and
I'm like, here we are in North Dakota, baby. Let's do this.
Well, and I don't know, a lot of them companies like Sitka and stuff probably wouldn't move to North Dakota because we don't have mountains, but
I'm saying like ammo companies. I mean, or a company who makes. I mean, bow hunting's. I mean, it's big here. I mean, it's getting bigger too. I mean, any of that shit. We don't need any gun companies here. We got Bloodline Kinetics can just build you one. We don't need Savage or somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah, but ammo.
I'm shooting a gun from a different country.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't blame you for that. Those are freaking sweet factory rifles.
My next gun, I think I'm gonna have to come to Bloodline and have them build me one. I just don't know what caliber I want to go with yet.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay,
300 PRC.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want nothing under. You're definitely a 30 cal plus guy. You're not a little man, so you gotta.
I can handle it.
Yeah. You're not gonna blow the shoulder out. I mean, Kelsey says he's got the hypodermic 100.
Yeah, I think he's asking. Yeah, I'm shooting the Tripan 100 grain.
Okay, so he's how heavy? You're going 100 grain, you said, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I did the 100 grain with my crossbow, and then with the drops in the scope, like the rifle scope, they weren't lining up, and I did it with my old bow too, and I went to the 125s, and that was way better. Yeah, I mean, is it slower? Yeah, it is. But I mean, you got more weight for pass through, and it was more accurate with it. So I mean, to me, that's a and 370. I mean, okay, well, wow, you're losing like 30 feet per second. Who cares?
Yeah,
Right,
that
right.
is
It's
dead.
it's that easy trade for me. So
Yeah.
all right, man. I'll tell you
I
what.
run those inserts in there, so I have a little bit more weight up
So I don't
front.
know what that is. I heard you say that. What does that mean?
So there's a brass insert that's in the front of your arrow.
Yeah, okay, I got it with my crossbow. Yeah.
Yep, and then your broadhead screw into those, and it's just adding more weight up front. You know, the big FOC craze, the front of center craze,
Yeah.
that I'm not big into.
Yeah, Wayne's big into it. We were talking about that in the last show. I mean, he's definitely in on that thing. And
I'm not crazy into it. Just like with ballistics, I use what works for me, and I don't get crazy with the science behind it. I just
well, I
I
mean,
use what works for
so
me.
like I would think like weight anywhere on it would push it through better, right? Not just in the front.
Yeah, I've watched so many things on it because I wanted to become an arrow nerd, and I finally just said, "Screw it! I'm going to use what I've used for years." And
Well,
the
you
only
got them
thing
all.
that
You
I
got them all
do,
hanging on the wall, man. It's working for you.
the only thing that I do that's different than a lot of people is I run 4 fletchings, where a lot of guys run 3. And
Well, that's as weird as Tim Walls.
easy, buddy. Easy.
I'm
That's
kidding.
low.
I just had to throw. You said weird, and it triggered me
No,
with the.
no. But that
So what's the advantage of having 4 of them?
it's just more steering. I've watched a lot of guys, and I think my final selling point was Zach Kemmer at Shields. I asked him because Kemmer's not gonna fill you with feel good. Like, he's gonna tell you how it is,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're stupid, he's gonna tell you you're stupid.
Yeah,
And so
okay.
I
Yeah.
asked him. I said 3 or 4 because I've watched this so much stuff. He said, honestly, the more the better. He said if you feel comfortable with running 6, like, it's gonna steer you better. The only problem is with that is it's more to catch wind. So if you run 6, you're going to
Right.
catch a lot more wind.
All right,
So the
makes
happy
sense.
medium is going to be 4, where you're gonna be able to steer that arrow better and not catch as much wind.
Mm-hmm. Well, he says, is that the short older guy at Shields?
So there's 2 Zachs in the archery department: Zach Kemmer and Zach Mickelson. Zach Kemmer is the taller of the 2 Zachs.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know that much about archery, but them guys, when I talk to them, I mean, you can definitely tell. I mean, that's their jam, because even at
They're
crossbows, if you
really
talk
good
to them,
guys.
they know their shit big time, dude. Yeah. Well,
There's
so he
some
says shock collar. What's a shock collar? I mean, to me,
So-
that's what you put on a dog.
So the shock collars, if I'm understanding it right, would be an outsert that goes on the outside of your arrow, and it's just more added weight on the outside of your arrow at the front.
Yeah, I just didn't know that penetration with a arrow was that big a deal. But I mean, when I see it on, well, I mean, I guess I do see it when they get them like in the shoulder on, in the hunting shows, and it's. But I mean, Christ, they bleed out anyways. They're like, well, leave them. Let's get them in the morning, and then they find it like 20 yards. Do they go lay down and that's where they die, or do you think they just died that quick?
I mean, it can be either way. I mean, a lot of them guys will back out just because if that animal goes in beds and nothing busts them, they will die. But if you don't have a complete pass through, you're going to have less blood to trail, because that body cavity's got to fill up before the blood comes out the entrance wound. Like when I shot my elk, I 10-ring that elk, and he went 115 yards. I didn't find a drop of blood. Like, if we didn't know where that bull went, we would have had a horrible time tracking him.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a pass through. My arrow broke off, 10 seconds after I hit him. And then that whole body cavity up until where my arrow was had to fill with blood. Well, by the time it filled that far, he was dead. So you get a complete pass through, and if you're higher than he is, that arrow is going to go through and exit at a lower point, then it's going to bleed faster. I mean, it's everything's got variables with it, but if you hit them in the heart, you hit them in the lungs, they're dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. I mean, that thing goes through there and cuts them. I mean, yeah, you don't find blood. Like a lot of people, oh my God, there's no blood trail, and I'm always like, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it ain't dead. Like I was worried the first deer I ever got was with my crossbow. I didn't find any either, and the arrow was through, and I found it sticking in the. And I thought he ran like way the hell out, and I called my dad, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we're gonna." Yeah, he made it like 40 yards, and he tipped over.
Yep.
He went around and circled back, and
Yep.
yeah, and it was pretty jacked up. He's always hanging on my wall up here. If you're ever up here, Levi, near my house, I'll show you. It was pretty high.
I'd love to come up there sometime for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you get down to the sandbar there again. Or what's it called? What is it? Not sandbar? Was it Tap In Tavern? It used to be the sandbar. Yeah. Well, I'd love to meet you somewhere, but so Kelsey says Zach dialed in Eli's new bow down there. So yeah,
and that could be either one of them because there's 2 Zachs in the archery shop there.
Yeah. Well, shit. If you get up here, Kelsey's up here, and then you're up here, and then he likes to partake in the adult beverages too. So. And obviously, we'd have us a hell of a good conversation. So
there you go.
I'm gonna, we got a 2-hour time limit here, and I'm gonna go through just a little bit of PR here for the boys, right? And some my peeps back there in Golden Valley. I told them I would here. Got the Golden Valley Rally coming up here, August 17th. Fireman's Picnic, that's going to start, the 17th is Saturday. That's going to start at 11. And then they got the Fun Run, Car Show and Shine, 12 to 3. Shootout bull riding there. My man
Coleman Enzi.
Yeah, my boy. Oh, you know Coleman too? Awesome, man. Yeah, Coleman, good dude.
With Coleman for many years.
Awesome, man. Right. And the bulls start bucking at 6 p.m. And after that, the street dance is going to get it going, 8:30, saddle sore. And then Sunday, Wayne Herman Invitational, a stream bareback and bronc riding. Gates open at 1, Calcutta at 2. Horses start bucking at 3. And then, this is my favorite bar up there, Saddle Sore. They're closing the doors, man. Saturday, September 7th, the closing party. Yeah, so, I mean, hopefully, somebody else opens something up. Alan and Serena are shutting her down. So I'll be Mixed Tavern's going to get a lot of my money in Zap. So, and then tomorrow, 8:15, Clayton's going to be on. Mitchell in the morning, be on for 45 minutes with Todd. And then, if everybody heard, Clay and I were on Dakota Mornings with Mike Bell there, and Mike's on vacation. So Monday, Clay's doing the full 2 hours on Dakota Mornings. I know he told me today he was going to try and get a hold of Scott and have Scott on for an hour, Scott Bachmeyer. Not sure if he did or not, but if not, Clay will come up with some good stuff either way. And he's got other guests. And then the Friday the 16th, yours truly is going to be doing a whole 2 hours on Dakota Mornings on 550. First hour, I'm going to have Kelly Armstrong's coming on with me. He had a big lineup, man. He was going to host the show, but there was some discrepancy, like if you're running for office or something, He didn't want to deal with it. So I did it, and then he can come on as my guest. Kelly's a true gun guy and a big bow hunter for that. And I said, Kelly, let's just keep your agenda going. He's got some cool questions. I would definitely want to tune into that if you want to talk some guns. Like, what's our governor? He's not a real gun guy. Believe me, our next governor is going to be like probably the most pro-gun governor in America. So, and you'll find out when we do that. So check those out. And then, like I said at the beginning of the show, Levi, 22nd, Kelly's coming on here, 701Nation. We're going to talk bow hunting, so you're not going to want to miss that because he is a big bow hunter as well.
I'll be checking it out after I get done with my antelope hunt, sitting in the lodge.
Yeah, well, keep us updated, man. Send me you got to hang on after the show. I got to give you my cell phone number so we can keep everybody who's listening. We can keep them updated how your hunts are going and stuff, man. I think people would love to hear that.
And I was going to mention quick before we ended, I gave Kelly a little bit of crap last week at the SCI banquet. There was a mountain goat hunt that was for sale. And I told him, I said, come on, Kelly, buy it. I'll come pack for you for free.
Yeah.
You realize the boat's at the bottom, and we got to go all the way up to the top to find the mountain goat. And I said, that's okay. I'll pack for you.
Yeah, you just tell me, do I look like somebody who can't carry a goat up a mountain, man?
Come on. It for you.
Yeah, exactly. You're a big dude. I love it. Josh says, great show, guys. Kelsey, let's get a few more here. We got a few more in here. Let's see here before we check out. Kelsey says, stepped away for 2 seconds. What? God dang it. I'm trying to. What is that event again?
I think that's the bull riding and the bareback riding.
Yeah, that's the Golden Valley Shootout. It's a bull riding there Saturday. And hot rods, you know, they got the hot rods in town there. And Main Street, they got the Golden Valley Community Center there, and the fire trucks are there. That's the fire station. And then Sunday, they got that night there's a street party. And then Sunday, we got the bareback riding, the bronc riding. And then I said on the 7th, the saddle store's closed. You're not going to get that far west, Kelsey. You just come to Bismarck, and when we'll take care of it there and go out to Axes. But yeah. He says Libs would have been all over him. Yeah, I mean, the Libs can try and get all over Kelly, but it ain't going to work for him. So
I don't think he's got much competition in North Dakota this year.
No, he doesn't. And I mean, the dude's a true North Dakotan. I mean, you know.
That being said, I am friends with the Democratic nominee for governor. So
Pepcorn?
Merrill Pepcorn is a friend of ours, so I can't say anything too bad.
All right, so tell Merrill I didn't see anything about no Second Amendment on his website, so I'm going to go ahead and think he's right in line with Joe.
Well, we've had a few discussions already. My dad has told me to behave.
All right, I mean,
I'll leave it at that.
Silence is golden, like I said. I mean, a lot of the Democrats. I mean, pretty much all the Democrats. And I was actually thinking about talking about this in that second hour when I'm filling in. None of these guys want to talk about Second Amendment because you know why? Because, and I'm not saying they're not nice people. You can have, and I have relatives that are Democrat. But listen, when you're not bringing it up on your website or talking about it on any, you know, you're in line with the National Party and the North Dakota State Party for that matter. It's pretty anti-gun. So
yeah, and we went round and around on the CWD thing, and he wouldn't listen to my.
He would listen to common sense.
No, and he said, no matter what, I'm going with what the Game and Fish wants. And I said, the Game and Fish isn't who votes for you. That's the problem. Right. And he always talks about agriculture and our farming practices. And I said, well, look at it from that point of view. We wouldn't go and not feed our cattle because they could possibly spread diseases. We're going to try to make our cattle as healthy as possible. Well, he wouldn't take any of my stuff. And he came down and did a deal with my dad this summer. And I told Dad, I said, just let me borrow him for half the day and let me show him around. He said, no. He said, I don't trust you.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah. Kelsey, he said he's argued with old Merrill a few times. So
yeah, Merrill is a very good guy, but he's aligned differently politically, and that's okay.
Yep. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not okay with it, but right. All right, Levi, don't go away. I'm going to end the stream here. Appreciate everybody hanging in there watching us. I know we went 2 hours, but I think we had a pretty good show here talking about some. I mean, if you didn't think it was interesting, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us, guys. I know it got a little long. And I'm fine with it. I enjoy visiting. So.
That's cool, man. I love talking to you, man. It's fun. So hang in there. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Clayton's going to be on with Todd Mitchell in the morning. Monday, Clay's going to be on Dakota Mornings, 9 to 11 on KFYR. And then next Friday, a week from tomorrow, I'm going to be hosting 2 hours on Dakota Mornings too. Mike Bell, appreciate you letting us and trusting us to fill in for you, buddy. He's on vacation down in California. That's where he's from. He's not a liberal. A lot of people think he is. Trust me, the guy's not. So, all right. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys 2 weeks from now. My guest, Kelly Armstrong. Levi, hang on. Talk to you shortly here. Have a good night, everybody, and have a great weekend. Get out, do some shooting with your bow, your rifle, your pistol, and heck, throw a spear if you want.